So hello, it's Consentient here, and I'm playing the long-awaited Acken challenge, number 1. It's using a balance mod that Acken made. Acken is a known contributor on the Civ Fanatics forums, and probably one of the best Civ players in the world. This mod changes the game drastically. It's minimalistic in that the changes don't make anything weird happen, like new civs or hugely new dynamics or anything like that. But it makes the gameplay different because melee units, for example, are stronger and so forth. So there is one change here that instead of a harbour they have this kothon, which forms the city connection with the capital over water. Sea trade routes have the 50% increase in range, and additional 2 gold as per the other harbour, or maybe the other harbour was 1 gold, I don't know. But then you've got +2 gold from coast and ocean tiles as well, so it's well worth building for sure. I'm not sure if there's a change to the elephants. It doesn't look like it. And the quinquereme, I think, is pretty much the same as well. So I've got moderate experience with this mod, but not loads and loads and loads and loads. In previous games I've tended to fall into old habits of playing as if I was playing the base game and not doing so well out of it. So I wouldn't expect to see perfect gameplay from me, and I'm learning, and I'll be commenting on some of the new things that I discover. And without further ado, and if you know me, you'll know that I would be going for a domination victory or a cultural victory if that seems like it's going to be easier, or the domination victory is going to be much too hard. Science and diplomacy don't interest me quite as much. And without further ado, we'll get into it. So I don't see any reason to move the settler. We'll be able to work the wheat or the deer. We have silk. 3 whales, which when we've improved them will be pretty good. They'll have 3 food, 1 hammer, 1 gold, and then when we get a harbour the gold will increase, and when we get a lighthouse the production will increase, maybe, and maybe even the food. I'm not quite sure. So let's go ahead and settle there, and let's go and build a scout. So we're on a continents map. And for those people who know me, they know that I like to build just as many, if not more, scouts on a continents map for blocking AI settling and things like that. In terms of our first tech, a religion might be nice, because we've got these 3 whales and a fish. So a god of the sea pantheon would be quite nice, with some extra production. So I think we'll go for pottery first. We've also got the wheat and the deer, which are improved by a granary. So we've got a ruin over here. I'm going to go and collect that. There's a natural wonder there, and another ruin. I'll get this one first, I think. Check out the natural wonder area. Okay, so we got ourselves a spearman. It's not a problem really. There's another whale down here. If there's 1, 2, 3, that salt is in range of this tile, so we could possibly settle that. Looks like a first spot that we found that we might like. If I haven't already, I apologise for the speed of my computer. It is quite slow, and I hope that the sound of the fan isn't so loud. I have installed an app to try and deal with that. So we've got free mining, which is going to be useful to chop these forests. Only time will tell whether it's worth us settling inland or on the coast. I think we'll send our first scout along this coast. So there's a marble there on the coast, which is pretty nice. Pretty nice indeed. And I think I'll come down on this side, why not? Head for this tile. This all looks a bit rough, the spearman to handle. We've got a city-state here we can meet. So this is pretty good. For example, settling here would give us this Wales. We could work the deer straight away. We've got spices. I like that spot. So this is screaming liberty to me, frankly, for some cities which don't need to be particularly big, and a free settler and a free worker. On the Acken mod, Republic comes later, and the, I never remember what it's called, free worker, well, we'll find out right now because we've got a culture in citizenship. So we'll have opener, citizenship and collective rule. We'll go ahead with that. Still worth to work the hammers, frankly. We're going to go for a monument next. I think I'll come around this side. I don't want to jump up there and then be stuck in rough terrain. So yeah, the land here is pretty crummy. We don't want to settle anywhere near here. I'm sure the AI will like it. Or maybe they're a bit more discerning on this mod. This looks a bit better over here, but it's too far from the capital and probably. So I think this one will go west. Celts. Everyone knows how much I like Celts. Okay, so we got one more ruin there. I think the spearman can collect that on his way home. There is salt there. But I do like the idea of these two coastal cities, and this one is in range of that salt. You know, for eventually. So, what can we do here? We could push straight for sailing and get some workboats out. We've got free mining from the ruin. Our workers going to need something to do, so they can chop some of these forests. It doesn't seem like a bad idea for them to chop workboats, because they're improved. It's yeah, the improvement adds a hammer. We don't seem to have any really close neighbours, so archery doesn't seem so desperately important. We're going to need masonry. It's going to be 4 turns till citizenship, and yeah. We don't need horses for our unique unit. I think we'd be much better off trying to sell these luxuries, frankly. So I think I'm going to go straight for sailing. Then again, we could find out where the iron is. Do we care? It's a continents map, so frigate rush could be interesting. Yeah, I'm going to go straight for sailing. I'd never done this before in the base game, but these improved workboats look pretty tasty, so I think I'll give them a whirl. See how we work out with those for developing our cities. That's 55 gold. I forgot to meet that city state, didn't I? Wherever it was. Here. Oh, that was a bit silly. I'm sure the Celts have found this one already. They were heading in that direction. Yeah. Okay, that's quite useful. Free masonry, so when we settle this spot over here, we'll be able to improve the marble. And I think I'd like to go this way and explore what is in this part before I move on. See if there's a neighbour here who's going to object to this marble site. So we get ourselves a worker here, and then sailing's not ready for another 9 turns, so I think we get ourselves a shrine. Give religion a go on this mod, see how this goes. And we'll be able to chop it. So after the shrine, I think we'll try and squeeze a granary in as well before we start building settlers, and then with the increased food they will actually be produced quicker, assuming that still works the same way. So yeah, this is the Denmark people. And he's not that near this marble, but he probably will have something to say about it. And I have to decide if I want to steal a worker from him. Or try to. Let's go around and see. So we have an escape route to one of these 2 tiles, and then we have to bring him this side of the camp as possible. He really would hate us completely for that, I would have thought, but it might also give us a nice boost. I think I'll take a chance. I don't know what it is I'm pillaging there. A fairly invisible pasture. I can't see any animals. Okay, so he needs to come to action. That's a shrine done. He narrowly survived. I did actually forget to check if he went tradition. There we go. Where's the bard gone? He's playing cat and mouse. Go to this forest next, because it's got another luxury underneath it. It'll save time later on. So if Denmark are there, I expect to find another. Okay, this is where the Celts are. So I think I'll keep heading west. See who else we've got. I'm assuming we've got one other. This might be a little tricky escape, but I see a settler there. I'm going to keep my eye on it. Let's jump up on this one. Let's go back there, and I'm going to try to see if we can get that settler as well. Well, he's feeling quite brave. He's come in for a closer look. If that settler goes down there, I might be able to nab it before I make peace. Playing quite a risky game here, but nothing ventured, nothing gained, as they say. Yeah, that's not great. So there's quite a lot of rough terrain about, so I'm going to give him the drill promotion and keep an eye on this camp. There we go. We've got a population growth there. I think we can work that safely now. We'll have a granary one turn before the free settler. Or we could do it like that and rack up a bit of gold while we're waiting for it. There's nothing else is going to fit in. Yeah. There's El Dorado. That's for someone else. It's not really anything to do with us. Okay, so there's the settler. We're not going to get him because he's escorted. And this scout needs to be very careful. Okay, so Morocco are here and they're about to settle another city, sell them an embassy. So we've got a psycho, someone who is pretty schizophrenic, is either a pushover or a psycho, and Boudica, who just never seems to do very well. So I think I'm going to jump this side while I can. And calendar. I'd like to get some of my luxuries linked up. Like this one. Well, I could still pray. Well, there's another good city. No, it's not really good because there's no rivers and there's wheat, but there's not a lot of production up there. At first I thought this was a river. It's just the edge of the fog of war. So this might be a suicide scout, because if they plonk a city around about here, it's going to be difficult to get away from. Might as well just keep exploring. Okay, and now he needs to run away. Okay, so this is where he is. And I think we'll jump you into the city while we attack you. Yes, he's dropped it on the coast. That makes this spot now invalid. So, still have this one. I shall think about this and take a pause, take a break.